The name of my album is called PMS, Part My Slayage. PMS has been something I've kind of played around with. If you know, before I did a mixtape with DJ Smallz called Part of My Swag, and that name was really catchy. PMS is something that, you know, all women go through, that all women can relate, and sometimes we have mood swings. We could be emotional, we could be mean, you know, we could be happy, we could be sad. And it's just the different changes that a female goes through. So I used that title and I, in a sense, refreshed it and made it more vulgar. If anybody knows, the word slay is like, you know, we came to kill everything, to shut it down, like a savage in a sense. So the PMS this time around for the album, Part of My Slayage, was something that was more unapologetic than the other albums that I've put out or mixtapes that I've put out in the past. The artwork, in a sense, I was kind of looking for something red, but orange was safe to kind of go with the whole PMS thing. I thought that would probably, I was really looking for something very vulgar. I did the photo shoot for the album cover about 3 times until I was really happy. And I wanted something that was very bossy, very sassy, classy, but chill at the same time, like very unbothered. And that's why you have me kind of laying across the couch. You see the Buddha in the background. You see, you know, the feather fans and the fur and the minks, which, you know, is a sign of queenish royalty that kind of goes with the whole theme of my purple hair. So I took different pieces of what I stand for now and those elements to kind of bring this whole album cover. The only thing that was missing was a tiger. We couldn't get a tiger, so I said, hey, you know, we can get it as close to what I see the image as being, as bossy, sassy, sophisticated as possible. PMS was done for a very long time now. If anybody that knows me or have worked with me know that I'm a perfectionist. So it was like, in a sense, I was always adding more songs to the album or taking songs out. This time around, I decided to shoot music videos and get visual first, like drop singles 1 week at a time and let people become one with the actual records or the project. You know, we live in this new era, this popcorn or microwave era, as what people would say. And, you know, you'll put something out and it could be great project, great quality of work. And then next week or the next day, it could be someone else that's releasing something. So I think that my fans really waited a long time and I wanted to keep the anticipation going and wanted them to damn near, in a sense, it's like, you know, if you're really thirsty, you want something to drink. It was like, oh, I'm so glad I was really parched. And now I had this fresh glass of water. I'm tired of drinking this sand water. It was time for me to, in a sense, step forward. I wanted other female MCs to give themselves a chance to show other females or whatever their fan base might be what they bring to the table. It was a time where I was very consistent. It was like, you know, maybe 2 projects out a year or at least a project every year. And I felt as if I was setting up the blueprint for most people. And I wanted to kind of take time out to see what I could do different, you know, add some mystique to what I have going on or even raise the bar for people. This time around, I made sure that I still stayed true to my hardcore trap fans. I still was able to give that double time unapologetic rhyme, but I also made sure I worked with producers like Heatmakers, Arsonists out in New York, and I gave records where I was storytelling and was more of a lyricist. I've given guys records from the West Coast area to give you more of a dancing feel, West Coast vibe, as I was in LA filming the TV show. Pop records, you know, a little bit small hint of an EDM record, kind of tapping into that. And most important, the fact that I'm a Boricua. A lot of people don't know that I wanted to tap into that as well. So I have a record or 2 where I'm actually on there rapping in Spanish. So it's a different, you know, a little bit of a little everything in this element. It's a different project, but it's still sassy, it's still hardcore, and it's still what people love from Diamond. Well, initially I had about 20 songs and people were like, the music is so great, let's just chop it in half. And that way you can have a faster release right after this first release. I plan on not having such a huge gap. I released the project at the end of August. In December, I'll be dropping another project instead of waiting, maybe until the next August to drop the project. And 13 tracks is enough. The intro was something to kind of let fans know where I was or where I am now, what I've kind of been going through. And I hinted on some subjects that were so long ago in my past that I never really spoke on. I, in a sense, didn't even want to release it because it was so old. It was something that was in my diary that was maybe back in '07 or even back in 2009 or 2010. But it was best to just get that off, get it out off of my chest, let fans see my perspective and my side of the story from some things, and then be able to move forward with all new material. DJ Scream put the track list together. I initially had it in another arranged way, but after him collaborating with me, he actually came in to a lot of the sessions while I was recording the project and made me really feel like, this was a mass production, whether it was one of his producers, 1K, that produced a track called She on the album, whether it was bringing in other DJs from the Hood Rich team to support, to let me know that I have the support and to be able to know that, okay, Diamond, you have to always, in a sense, stay true to yourself, or this is what's going on now. Tap more into this, tap more into that. Because a lot of people don't know, if you don't know, I'm a very private person, so I like to just do my job now and go home. And he has always been my ear to the streets and let me know certain things that I need to tap into, certain new, fresh, up-and-coming artists that it's best to kind of rub shoulders with to keep myself going in a sense, or to be able to have another female MC to be up under my wing and for me to mentor them and hope that they don't make some of the same mistakes that I could have made, throughout my whole journey through hip-hop. Oh, it is a flow to the project. I would say the first initial, a lot of people compare the intro to something that maybe a Kanye or a Drake would do. Subject-wise, I'm really talking about where I've been and what's been going on, not holding back, whether it was what's going on with the label, what's going on in my private life, what to expect that's about to happen in my private life. And it's kind of dark, gritty, grimy, but it's also very soft and melodic as far as how it kind of opens up the curtains. You hear certain voices in my vocals where my voice is screwed, chopped and screwed. Shouts out to Texas. So I took a little bit of everything of where I've been and where I'm trying to go and made that into the intro of the track. And of course it gets automatically into the riding, the trap mode, party music, which you all fell in love with me about. And then it gets into a kind of more personal space where it's a track with like Nicole Wray, where I'm talking about something that happened to me when I was 19 years old. It puts you in the feel of a Love is Blind. And it kind of rides on out to letting females know to really never give up. It's more of a live instrumentation. It ends where I am now. The fact that most of the tracks that I rap on now are where people or producers come in and they're playing the instruments live. Or when you see me performing now, you'll see me with my all-girl band, Girl Code, and it's a live instrumentation. Of course, you still see the DJ to give you still some of those hard 808 bass, that gritty bottom that people love about me, but the live instrumentation is just so much more respect of music and appreciation when you hear us actually playing all my classics from when I first started out with Crime Mob all the way to the new Diamond now when I'm performing. I would say if I had to pick my top 4 tracks on the project, I guess I'd try to keep it down to 4. I would say PMS because, as I said before, it's a different feel. It's a lot of people, the fans have kind of compared it to more of a Kanye or a Drake feel. It's dark, gritty, but still very girly in a sense where it has like a melodic feel to it. and it's straight to the point. It's PMS. It's the name of the actual album. So I think that at that moment, that's when the curtains open and you're able to see the reason why I named my project Part of My Slayage. And I think the next track would be maybe She, which is another track that is a trap sounding music. It puts you in the mind frame of a Stilettos. Gloss Up would be another record that will put you in the mind frame of a Nook If You Book, but a female version. TM88 produced that, and he produced 70% of the project. It was great working with him because it took me back in a space to where I felt like it was creating kind of a crime mob again, that void that I was missing. Someone that was my same age, that grew up in the same era, that has evolved and was able to take me to that next level of maybe if Crime Mob was still together musically, where we could possibly be, or what we would, the sound that we would have, very gritty and dark, but still that female touch on it. It was just enough. It quakes when you put it on in the car. It quakes when you play it in the club. So those three. And the last one would be Miss 19, which is me really being vulnerable. I'm normally like this strong, fierce, independent female, this bossy, sassy chick. But a lot of times people need to hear that we're human and you have to be vulnerable to say, hey, this is some things that I went through, do things this way so you won't have to run into the same roadblocks as me. Or it could be just the same story that someone else went through, and it wasn't about me having any pride. It was about me just saying how I felt at the time. And immediately, as soon as I released that record, that was one of the most downloaded songs where people kind of was like, thank you so much for doing a record like that. I felt like I can relate to that. And it made me feel like I could connect to you more versus just, hearing me rap on party records in a sense. I think that I've covered all genres. This, to me, is the best project I've ever put out because I've dealt with the live instrumentation. I've dealt with being more lyrical, being produced by a New York producer, a West Coast producer, being true to who I am as Atlanta representative and still evolving. Because sometimes you feel like, I guess maybe being from Atlanta that it can't go to that next level. People have to stay in that box. So I was really excited to see that my fans were happy and allowed me to get outside of my element from what they're normally used to hearing. And fun facts. Just talking about my little one that's on the way. I definitely dropped a lot of secrets and kind of gave clues to, like I said, what I could be dealing with or have been dealing with as far as the hold up with my music, the issues with the label, and just letting people or women know that no matter what type of obstacles that you're faced with, you have to just still keep going. And it's not really just in music. I feel like, women, we really go through a lot. I'm not one that likes to play victim, that wants a pity party. I just deal with the hand that I'm dealt with, and I make the best of it. So I think that when people hear this project, if they could be down or weak in a certain area, whether it's in their personal life, whether it's in their work life, they will get some type of confidence and feel like they can conquer whatever challenges that they're faced with.